All right. So, welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Conversations from the Diaspora. As usual, I'm your host, your sister, and your friend, Nkiru. And I'm honored to have you join us for part two of tonight's discussion, I See You, Sis, a conversation between sisters across the African diaspora, the 2025 edition. So, unfortunately, some of our sisters were unable to join us tonight, and we'll just be holding it down for them in their absence. Um, I am joined by the beautiful Kathy, official Queen Cat. So I'm just so happy to have her here tonight. She's been on quite a few of our episodes to get that we've had the African Women panel. I See You Sis, some other ones. So we have a long history, as you all know. But the last time we gathered, particularly for this conversation, was in 2021. We explored what sisterhood looks like for us as millennial women navigating life, work, relationships, across the diaspora, and we talked about the power of our villages, the way we see ourselves in the world, and just some of those challenges that comes with building and sustaining true sisterhood. And now here we are again, 4 years later. Life has happened. Motherhood has changed, has changed me. Our careers have evolved, and then the world around us has continued to shift. One thing remains the same, though, is our need for a community connection and collective upliftment. And just to highlight this year's Women's History Month theme, it is moving forward together, women educating and inspiring generations. This is a powerful reminder of the roles that we play in shaping the future, not only for ourselves, but for the women who will come, who came before us, and then those who will come after us. But the real question is, are we truly moving forward together? Are we showing up for one another, or are some of us still being left behind? So we're going to pick up tonight where we left off, but with fresh perspectives, because we're 4 years since the last time. We'll talk about sisterhood in this new season of our lives, the realities of balancing relationships, motherhood, careers, and just everything else that we have going on in our lives, and whether or not we're actually pouring into one another in the ways that truly matter. So, Kathy, let's dive in. Um, any words for our viewers before we start?
Hi, everyone. I'm Queen Cat, and I want to thank you so much, Nkiru, for having me on. You're doing amazing with your podcast. It's very uplifting, it's positive, and it's real dialogue, real conversations that everyone can benefit from. So I'm honored to be here joining you, and I'm super excited and I'm super ready.
Yes, thank you, Boo. I really appreciate that. So, I guess just to kind of go straight into it, let's start by reflecting. How has your understanding of sisterhood evolved since our last conversation? Have you found your village, or are you still searching?
I've always had a village since I was about 12, which is great. I've had sisters since I was 12, 18. And it's just evolved to different
Mm,
types of sisterhoods. Like, for one, I have friends that have turned into sisters from school. I'm getting to know new people at work, and we're getting closer. But sisterhood has always remained the same for me when it came to my day ones. People I've known since I was 12 to 18. Fifi, shout out to you. And Daisy, I've known Daisy since I was 12. And I've known Fifi since I was about 17, 18. We became friends when I was like 17 or 18. And
nice.
really value sisterhood. We've been through so much together. And what remains the same is the love that we have for each other. So, yeah.
I love that. I love that, and I think that's one thing I really admire about you and your, like, core friend group, because I see, like, you guys are always there for each other, like, no matter what, like, you're literally a family, and I think that's the most beautiful thing ever, especially for us
Thank
in the
you.
diaspora, like, we have to build those relationships because everyone else might be, back home, but the family that we create here, like, that's what, helps us, in those difficult moments and stuff, and even the good moments, so I love that.
Yeah.
I
Thank
think for me, it's just, like, yeah, as far as me, I would say, um, as far as a village, like, I guess I have, like, people that I've known since I've, grown up here, but I'm still kind of, like, working to build, like, maybe a core group. Like, I do have, like, my best friends or people that I've been friends with for a long time, but, as different points in your life, sometimes your needs may change, and sometimes those friendships, you may grow apart for one reason or the other. Not really for bad reasons, but just because you've certain needs or certain priorities of your life have changed. So we'll definitely get into that more tonight. And I guess in line with that question, I'll go with I guess our first question, which is in the midst of let's say marriage or relationships, raising kids, career demands, how have we, either of us, we found ourselves leaning more on our sisterhoods to rediscover who we are as individuals, and how have those connections helped ground or even redefine you?
You want me to start or will you?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think I'll start. So I think
Okay.
just kind of in line with what I was saying earlier, um now that I'm a mom and everything, like just trying to find people who can kind of relate a little bit more because, when you're either single or when you don't have kids or whatever the case may be, like your priorities might be a little bit different, but when you have kids, it just kind of changes things drastically because obviously you have to like prioritize your little one's needs. Your schedule really revolves around them, especially because mine is only like 8 months old, so I have to like he's very much like on like a rotation. So what I could have been like, I guess when I had more flexibility in the past, is not the same as now. So just trying to find friends who can relate to that and who can be like accepting of those changes and those things. Um, and yeah, I mean, I would say rediscovering who I am as an individual. Um, well, I'm just discovering, as I go along, I'm still, like I said, just only 8 months in the game. So I'm still kind of defining who I am and figuring out who I am as not just as a mom, but like as an individual now in this like new space of life. So I would say it's interesting. I'm just kind of, figuring out who I am every day. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, Kat.
I do, and I commend you on being a mom and still keeping up with your career and, being a wife and everything like that. I really commend you because it's hard, like,
Yeah.
balancing and juggling it all. You're doing a really good job. I wanna remind you, I know we talk about that a lot. I just wanna remind you that you're doing a great job, and I hope that God continues to increase you and give you the strength. As
Yes.
for me, I'm not there yet with the whole marriage and kids yet, and it's crazy because I remember being, like, in high school and being like, "I'm gonna choose my career over
Yeah.
marriage and kids." Be careful what you say. But, I mean, I'm grateful to God because, like, I'm able to go after the things that I wanna go after without, like,
Yes.
distractions. Not that kids
Yes.
are distractions
No,
or
no, no. I get it.
others,
I
but,
get it.
you kinda
Right.
have to like you said, you have to reprioritize your family,
That's
and
true.
sometimes, needs can be different. So, as
Right.
far as career-wise, yeah, I lean on my sisterhood heavily when it comes to career because
Mhm.
I just transitioned from one career to another, and it was a bumpy road,
Yeah.
but my sisters have been there to help uplift me the days that I'm down and don't know what I'm doing. They're there to just encourage me and, you know, help me really figure out that the progress that I'm making rather than what's not going right. So I really do lean on them when it comes to career, and hopefully when the marriage and the kids happen, we'll
Right.
I know very well we'll still be here and I'm gonna
Yeah.
lean on more for that too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, sis, you brought up a very good point, and I love the fact that you said that, like, you always wanted to prioritize, like, career and everything, and I think that's beautiful, like, even with me, like, obviously, I didn't have, kids, like, super, super early. I think the time, was great for me just because I, like you, wanted to focus on, career education, just because I know, like, even now that I'm, still kind of going through it, like, I see how challenging it could be when you have a young family and other responsibilities, like, and then trying to balance work and stuff, like childcare and everything else. It's definitely not easy. Like, it's a real
Yeah,
serious balancing act. And I can see why some people, like some women, they may choose to, step away from the workforce and have other things. And it's like, because you have to take care of your kids, obviously, and you want them to have a good life and everything else. So it can be challenging. So it's good, definitely take your time, do what you need to do because you'll definitely thank yourself later. So don't feel bad at all. Don't feel like you're definitely not behind. So just be
thank you.
encouraged. And I guess similar to like the last question, how has becoming a mom or watching your friends step into motherhood, has this brought you any closer to your sisters, or did it create distance in ways you didn't expect? And I guess how have you navigated those changes or challenges? Kathy, if you want to
Honestly,
go first.
I'm gonna be honest. Y'all know I'm an honest individual. Honestly, when it first started happening, it kind of drifted us apart because it's like
Mm,
we don't have the same interests. Like, no offense, but I don't want to hear kids crying. Sometimes, you know, like,
I love the honesty.
yeah. So it's like at first it was hard because we didn't have the same interests. I didn't know how to be there for them, like
Mm,
how they need me to be there for them because it's just like, I did the best that I could, honestly. And
right.
I've grown more to like being there for my friends that are transitioning, my sisters that are transitioning into motherhood. I'm not perfect when it comes to that. You
Mm.
know, I'm not perfect when it comes to that, but I like to give people space, and then when, things pick up, I like for it to be organic, and
Yes,
if
yes,
I have to make amends, we make amends. But at first it was tough. It was like, okay, I don't know how to be there for you. I don't know what to say or what to do.
yeah.
Now I'm just like, what do you need me to do? Like,
Right. No, I love that. I love that. And what you said is just a beautiful and perfectly honest answer. Sometimes you don't know how to be there for the other person. So it can just be as simple as asking, how can I help you? I will say for me in the early days, like, when I first got home from the hospital and everything, um, if someone were to reach out and ask, "How can I help you?" One, I'm still recovering, so I have no idea how you can help me. And also, I just didn't really want a lot of people around me initially, outside of my mom, my husband, and stuff like that. So yeah, I can definitely understand. Like you don't know, like you don't want to bother people, you don't want to be all in their face and whatever. But I think for me, just like I said earlier, becoming a mom, it's teaching me, I guess, like with each month that passes and like as my son grows and as I'm growing too, as a mom, I'm seeing, okay, these are some things that I can pass on to someone else. Like, when you become a mom or, when you're pregnant, I can like say, okay, well, this is what I did. And this is,
mhm,
it's just kind of, so I guess it's teaching me how to be there. Sometimes you won't know until you get there, and that's kind
yeah,
of what I'm learning. And like you said, even when you have friends who are going through these new changes in life, whether it be marriage or children or just anything, um, sometimes it doesn't mean that they're not a good friend or they're not whoever they were to you prior to that fact. They're probably still that person. Is just because you're changing and because you have different needs, they may just not know how to be there for you. Um so it's really important just to lean on your friends, lean on your sisters, and let them know, like, hey sis, this is how I need you to show up for me. I think sometimes we're afraid to have hard conversations, and
mhm,
but if you have a true sisterhood, you shouldn't be afraid. Um,
yeah,
yeah,
perfectly
yeah.
said.
Thank you. Um, was this? I guess speaking of which, have there been moments in recent years where conversations with women that you've in your life have become a form of therapy or healing in ways that you didn't really realize that you needed?
Always, every day. Like, I have my people that I speak to, my tribe, and it's always therapy. I do have a therapist. I do
Oh,
advocate for
yes.
that, but because I don't like to just dump everything on my friends because I
Mhm.
know they have their own things going on too. So, especially as of late, I would ask, like my best friend, is it okay if I, unload on you
Yeah,
emotionally?
yeah.
And it's really been helpful because everybody goes through similar things or even different things. And your friends are usually there to help look for how should I say this? Basically looking from the outside in. Because when you're inside a certain situation, you may not see the good or the bad. But if you have people looking
Mhm.
from the outside in, they can, like, okay, you may not see that this is bad for you or this is good for you. Let me help you with that, or vice versa.
Sis, like you've just said something that was so powerful just now. And I love how you frame that because I know for a lot of us in the diaspora, therapy, I mean, thankfully, I would say in the last few years, especially since the pandemic, people are a lot more open to going to therapy, a lot more open to talking about it because that's something that was not happening prior to,
Mhm.
the last 5 years or so. So I think that's beautiful. I love the fact that you're actively engaging and, seeking therapy and everything. And another thing that you said that was so powerful to me is making sure that your friends are in a space to, hear from you, or, if you're having a moment we need to vent, because um that can be that literally can be traumatic. Like if you're going through something that's pretty heavy and then you talk to your friend, like maybe you pick up the phone every few moments, like, oh, this is going on, la 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 la. And it's like your friend can definitely be there for you and like listen to you, hear you out, support you. But after a while that can get like pretty heavy on the other person. And
Mhm,
you have to like seek someone who is, can professionally handle it. Um, because those things can potentially mess up your friendship too. Like I remember I was in a situation with like a former friend who every time she had something going on, she would kind of come and like tell me, and like it was really weighing on me so heavy at one point. It felt like I was experiencing what she was
mhm,
experiencing, and it was just like a very like tough time for me. Um so yeah, I like the point that you mentioned, that as far as like, seeking therapy. I think for me, that's something that I'm hoping to start pretty soon. I've always kind of wondered, like, okay, you know, I can't really think of a exact reason why I may need therapy, but I think we all just need someone to talk to, like to work through some of the problems we may have. Um, Not that we're trying to make problems, but there's always a better way to, handle things, or see things. Um, but yeah, and I will say, like, just in recent years, just kind of um, talking to some of my friends, especially, when I was pregnant, and even now, as a mom, like just being able to talk to other moms and how they navigated certain things, how they navigate things in marriage and just early days of motherhood. So I think it's always good just to have, a support system, just someone to hear you out.
mhm.
Um, yeah. Yeah.
Definitely. I'm glad you're seeking therapy. There's always been like a negative connotation when it came to that in the diaspora,
Yeah.
and you may seem weak or whatever the case may be.
Right.
We
Right.
all we don't want to put our past traumas on our kids or
Mm,
on family members. You know what I'm saying? So it's
that's
just
powerful.
best to get it out, manage it, work through it, and just let it go.
That's true. Since there's another thing too, I've been reading some articles where, unfortunately, a lot of and I can't think of the source right now, so don't quote me on it, but I've
Mhm,
been seeing it like really often, quite often, that a lot of times we as women, some of the diseases that we may have, like autoimmune diseases, like where the body attacks itself internally, is because we don't like speak out enough. Like we harbor a lot of like pain and anger and frustration, and those things will weaken the body. So it's very important for us to, have a circle where we can talk to people, and then talk to someone professionally, obviously. So ladies, please always, have your voice heard, whether it's through your friends or a therapist preferably, but have your friends too.
yeah,
um yeah. So I guess we'll switch to the next topic on, I guess, reclaiming your identity beyond the titles. So I think for women, we're often defined just by our roles as wife, as mother, as daughter, as, whoever we are to different people in our lives. Would you say, like, who are you outside of those identities? And how do you intentionally make space for those different parts of you?
that's a great question. I know recently, I had a situation with like it was not a tiff, but it was just a misunderstanding with a friend of mine.
Hmm.
And I remember telling her, like, this is the hierarchy, whether people like it or not.
Yeah.
God, myself, family and friends. Like, I can't pour out of an empty cup. So
Right. Powerful.
lately, it's like, okay, yes, I am your sister. Yes, I am your daughter. Yes, I am your friend. But I'm gonna have to do things that benefit me first because if not, then it's like I'm giving away myself to everybody and then I
Mm,
get the steak and I'm stressed out or
right.
I'm lacking in something. So I think for me, that's just been the hierarchy. Like
Yes.
and especially as I've been in therapy, it's just like making sure that I prioritize myself after God and then like, making sure that I'm good and then I can
Yes.
be a good mom. Not a mom. Be a
Soon, soon, soon.
marriage first, then motherhood.
Yes,
Be
yes,
a good
exactly.
sister, be a good daughter, be a good,
Right.
friend.
Oh, yes. Mhm.
So that's my take on that.
Yeah. No, it's just like we're literally here today. I think what you said is just so true. And I think I either posted this recently or, just been kind of like reflecting on it. If you are everything to everyone, who will you be to yourself? Like,
That's
I think,
powerful.
yeah, I think for women, especially we as African women, we as, since you're the firstborn, right? Sorry, I don't know why I'm forgetting.
I am
Okay, exactly.
numero uno.
Yes, yes, as the firstborn African daughter, like all those identities together, like there's just, like it's challenging within itself because you're the second mom, you make all the decisions pretty much. You're looked like if there's any mistake that your siblings make, unfortunately, you are the one who's held accountable, and it's like that's a lot to like deal with. And then on top of that, like if you have like your own family and other things, it's like there's just so many things. You're so many different ways that you're being pulled, and it can be way too demanding, way too stressful. And if you're not able to, I guess, find time to take care of yourself, you will burn out, you will be stressed, you will be, upset, and then you won't love yourself enough in the way that you need to. So I think for me, as far as how I'm intentionally making space for, I guess, who I am as an individual, um, I don't know. Like I will say for me, I've lived a great portion of my life for others. But I would say in the last year, especially maybe a year and a half, 2 years, I've started to transition to like being selfish in quotes. Um, and people see selfishness as a bad thing. And to be honest, it's not. You have to be selfish at times. You have to take care of yourself first before you can take care of others. Like you said, you can't pour from an empty cup. If you're pouring, like, you can't help others if there's nothing within you to give to them. So what I've been trying to do, I'm trying to prioritize like self-care. I know people always talk about self-care these days. Um, so I'm trying to prioritize like my fitness, trying to prioritize, getting massages and stuff. I haven't started any of these things yet, but
You look
but I'm,
good. You look
I'm
good
thinking,
though, by the way. Without
thank you,
the
boo.
exercise,
Thank you, boo.
body
Thank you.
snap back like that.
Thank you. I
Uh-huh.
appreciate it. I appreciate it. Yeah, I think for me, I'm just trying my best. Like I think that's all we can do. Like have the intention of doing your best for yourself because at the end of the day, this body that you have to love it. You have to love who the person within you is. Like that's really all that matters at the end of the day. You can't do more than that. So I'm just trying my best. I think that's all we can do.
So true.
Um,
So true.
yes, sis. Did you have anything else to add to that?
No, we're here. Like
Yeah.
I've been in the gym.
Oh
I've
yeah.
been eating clean. Like,
Hmm. I
because
love
it's
it.
just like, I know what I want in the future. So
Right.
to be able to get that, I have to do it now and then it'll be
Mm.
easier in the future.
Yes, yes, yes. I love that, sis. I love that.
Thanks.
So we'll switch, I guess, to navigating our career ambitions. Um, much like the last topic, balancing career ambitions with our personal lives can be challenging, whether it's through relationships, motherhood, or other commitments that we have as women. How have you, I guess, navigated your career goals while managing your personal life, and what support systems have been most helpful in your journey?
That's a good question. It was because like I love my social life. Like I love my
Yeah.
friends. I love being out.
Mm,
But as of like the last year, I went through a program. Shout out to you,
yeah.
Hyatt. And I had to be very tunnel vision. I had to be very
Right.
diligent. I had to be very like focused on that. So
Mhm.
I wasn't out. I wasn't, hanging out as often. I wasn't just being social
Yeah.
because I mean, my GPA, it shows
Yeah.
for now. I have a great GPA now, thank God. But like,
Yes.
and that's what brought my school friends and I closer because we were in the library for 5 hours sometimes,
Mhm.
just like making sure that we understood what we were being taught and everything like
Right.
that. But
Right.
navigating that, it's up and down because it's like sometimes you're gonna miss important events and
Mm.
you just don't know what to do because you got to work to make
Yeah.
sure that you're able to, even if you're not at a birthday party, you're able to get a present for that person or vice versa, and just picking
Yeah.
and choosing what are the most important events to go to.
Hmm.
and the ones that, hey, I gotta work,
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
it's been a little tough navigating that, but
Right.
I'm just very transparent with my people. Like, y'all know what I'm trying to do, so I
Hmm.
need time to focus on that. And I do apologize if sometimes I can't even be on the phone during the week. I
Yeah.
work no, I work 5 days a week, I think.
Hmm.
5 or 6, I don't know. No,
I
I work
think.
5 days a week, I think. But
Right.
like, like, and I work on a weekend now. Like, I work on a
Mm.
Saturday. So it's just like
Yeah, hustling.
understanding if I'm gonna do a trip, and I'm in training right now, so I can't even take off anytime.
Mm.
So it's like understanding if I'm gonna do stuff, it has to be those 2 days, like Sunday and Monday, I'm off. It has to
Okay.
be those 2 days or I can't do it. And people are gonna have to feel however they're gonna have to feel, and that's gonna be
Right.
okay. But I know it's not coming from a malicious place. And
Hmm.
yeah, I'm just really we're in that self um what is it? Not self-absorbed, but like self I don't want to say selfish because it's not, it's not selfish, like being
Just work on
self-aware.
yourself. Yeah.
I guess, yeah, self-aware
Yeah.
of our
Yeah. Yeah.
priorities at this moment. What about
Exactly.
you, sis?
Yes, it's, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's really just about being mature. Like when we were in our 20s and stuff, like just fresh out of school and whatever. Of course, we had all the time in the world. We weren't married, weren't like with kids, didn't have anything major, barely had bills. You know, we were just kind of living the life. So it's easy to like be outside or whatever. Um, your friend calls you, you can stay on the phone for hours, whatever. But now, we are not in that place anymore. We have real life responsibilities. We have bills. We have work, we have other things like we're building towards our future. So, you know, you have to, just communicate with your friends like, hey, I won't be able to make it out tonight, or, I would love, but I couldn't because of this and this reason. So I think it's just about, communicating, like we were talking about earlier. So I guess for me, like specifically as it relates to navigating career goals while managing I guess my new life situation, um, thankfully I am working from home. But funny enough, people think that working from home just kind of means that you're just sitting at home and sleeping. You're not. Like there are some days where I may have like a lot of meetings, so I'm just kind of like sitting at my desk pretty much the majority of the day or working on assignments. So even though I am at home, I may have a little bit more flexibility, but it's not like I'm going up and going down to the grocery store and getting whatever. Like it's not like as much free time as people might think. So I still have to like balance, my work life and then like my home life, and making sure that I make time for myself and everything else. Um, I will say maybe one of the biggest challenges that I've noticed since, becoming a mom, just the childcare aspect. I definitely did not want to take my baby to daycare. That's something that I just never wanted. Um, I, I'm thankful that I do have a support system here where I can work and, keep him in the house and, in between breaks can take care of him and stuff. But but yeah, it can be tough, but you just have to, plan for it and, be intentional. I think that's just kind of what it is.
That's great.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I admire moms, honestly, and wives that
Yeah.
are still career women because I
Yeah.
don't know. My man's
Yeah.
gonna have to choose.
No, sis, trust me. I'm I'm with you. I'm with you. Trust me. But I think for you and I, we're both business minded women in general. Like even if we are like working from, even if we are, if our husbands retire us or whatever, and like we're able to stay at home, like because we can. I think we would still want to do something like
Yeah.
business. So I think for us, we just naturally have that desire to do our thing and make money and do what we need to do. But I agree with you. The option is definitely a beautiful thing, and that's the goal. Like, hopefully that's gonna be pretty soon, but I still need to, make
Definitely.
my own money and stuff.
Yeah. So all the adults out there,
Yes, exactly. I'm so- You're funny, sis. Oh man. All right. Well, sis, I mean, the unseen labor of Black women in relationships. Ugh, this is a challenging one. So I would say there's this unspoken expectation that Black women should be everything to everyone. And I think we already touched on this a little bit, but being strong, being nurturing, being supportive, to our friends, to our family, to everyone. How do you set boundaries in your relationships to protect your own peace?
I'm a delicate flower, and I
Oh,
should as such. That's my new
exactly.
lingo right now. I'm not
Mm,
a Black woman. I'm sorry.
Mm,
I'm just not like if your mom was a strong black woman, I commend her.
right.
Mom was a strong black woman. She
Yeah.
is a black woman. My grandmother,
Yes.
my aunts. I am not. I am
Mm.
a delicate flower. I should be treated as such.
Oh, yes. I love that. I love it.
Meaning, thank you. Meaning, I can reciprocate energy.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna kill myself for no man, no woman, no mom, dad. I'm just not like
Yes. Mhm.
not. I'm a delicate flower. I should
Oh,
be
yeah.
treated as such.
I love
So yeah,
that.
I don't feel the pressure to be everything for everyone anymore. And
Yes.
yeah, because I did it for so many years and I was miserable.
Mhm.
I was miserable. I was always angry or I was always sad.
Yeah.
No, especially in relationships. Like, no.
Right.
'Cause I've always been like that go-getter and like, oh, I don't need a man to do this. I don't need a man to do that. Yes, sir, I do. Hmm.
Yes. Right.
I can
Right.
be a boss outside and with my business
Mhm.
in the corporate world, but when I get home, I want to
Mhm.
be a delicate flower.
Yes.
It's dead. You know, like, I want to be nurturing. I want to be so feminine. I want my hair down and just like, yeah,
Yeah.
go through life. Like, I
I
don't
love it.
feel the need to be a strong black woman. Sorry.
I love it. Sis, I love that. I love that. And I think that's what you just said is so powerful because it's really just about owning who you are and who you want to be. Like, just because everyone else wants to see us as, strong and everything else, that doesn't mean that we have to be strong all the time because that's stressful, like you said. And at the end of the day, who wants to, be strong at home and strong outside? Like, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. I mean, yes, like naturally, if you have a good support system, all those things will kind of come out. You're going to be supportive naturally, you're going to be nurturing naturally, but you don't have to be like, carry the weight of the world on your shoulders all the time. Like that's you're going to have back problems. Like you're going to be stressed. Like it doesn't make sense. But yeah, as far as setting boundaries, I think I'm with you. Like since we've been on the same page the whole night. I think it took me a long time to, like I said earlier, to kind of get to a place where I'm comfortable saying no or saying that I'm unavailable or that I can't. And again, I think just becoming a mom kind of helped me because now I'm able to like not only am I speaking, 'cause I think for me, I've never been a person who can like who spoke up for myself. But when it comes to my family, I will always speak up for my family, and of course now
Period.
for my right, and of course now for my son, like yeah, I'm always going to speak up for my son. I'm always going to speak up for people who I view as um like I don't know if not well of course innocent but not what's the word I can't think of the word right now, but people who can't speak up for themselves. I always want to like be there to speak up for them. um but I guess as far as like setting boundaries, like if it's not convenient for me, I'm not going to go out of my way to like do it. I will like what you said earlier, if I can't be there, I'll try to send a gift or I'll try to do whatever I can. But you don't want to pull yourself in different angles for no reason. Like just
Mhm.
setting boundaries. It takes like I said in my previous podcast episode on becoming a mom. Like setting boundaries is something that wasn't a muscle that I exercised much in the past, but I would say in the last 2 years I've been like more vocal about what I want and what I need and whatever. And whatever someone thinks about it, that's on them. It's not on me to think about. Yeah,
I'm proud of
yeah,
you. I'm
yeah.
proud of you. You've just always been like so timid and like I don't want to ruffle feathers.
All right.
Motherhood has brought out the
Yeah,
mother, the mama bear. I like it.
yeah. It's just I love the fact that you and I know each other in real life because like you can see firsthand like the changes, and I really do appreciate you for like always kind of supporting me and giving me like kudos. Like it means a lot, sis. So I just want to give you your flowers like in real
Thank
time.
you.
Thank you so much.
Likewise.
Well, sis, we'll transition a little bit. We spoke a lot about women and obviously Women's History Month, so obviously it's all about us. um so let's talk about the role of men in nurturing sisterhood and community. I thought this question was quite interesting because we do talk a lot about sisterhood, but what role do you think that men, whether it's our partners, our brothers, fathers, father figures, anything, anyone like that, what role should they play in supporting and uplifting the bonds between women? What do you think about that?
Hmm, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I'm still working on that because it's like when I'm in a relationship, it's my man, my man, my man. And I kind of like I'm absorbed in that, and I kind of
Okay.
like neglect my sisterhood.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm working on that, like being there and balancing everything. But also, I think it's
Mm,
important for your man to understand that these women were here before you.
mm,
They're here to like help, cultivate and help make me better too. So it would
yeah.
be great if the men in our lives were supportive of our sisterhood and
Okay.
encouraging us to, hey, why don't you do a girls' night or,
Nice.
hang out with your friends for a little bit, reconnect with them, and they can do the same with their friends.
Yeah.
So it's not like we're in each other's face all the time
Mm,
and it gets kind of boring or it gets kind of like annoying because you're with
okay.
the same
Okay.
person over and over again. So I think they should be supportive of the sisterhood. And um, I love that when I'm dating someone, they see my sisters as their sister.
Mm,
I don't really like the whole that's my boyfriend and those are my friends and they can't really mingle or like get along. I don't like that. Like
okay.
I like for everyone to be cohesive and joke with each other and just like get to know each other.
Okay. Yeah, I
How
like
about
the
you?
Yeah, I mean, I like the perspective you took on that. I think for me, like this question, I haven't really thought about it much, but I will say, like, I like what you said, like your partner or your brother or like, just men in our lives. Like, I think it should be, they should encourage, sisterhood. They should encourage, you having that time to reconnect with women because I think so often, like, we're like in the media, we often see like women kind of hating women and like, being jealous and having these other like negative feelings about women. And I don't I don't know if I've seen guys necessarily step up and say like, hey, you guys, shouldn't feel this way. I mean, I don't even know if they even care that much. But I will say I
They
think
do, hopefully.
yeah. Like I mean, I think what you said makes sense. Like they should encourage like that time to like reconnect with the women in your life, whether it's like, your blood sisters or like, your sisters through love and yeah, I think that they should encourage that. But yeah, that's a very interesting question. I haven't really thought much about it. Um, but yeah, so I guess we can switch over to unless you had anything else to add to that.
Yeah, I've been in both situations where my dad or, was like, "Ah, you're choosing your family, I mean, your friends over your family." It's just like, we've been in that situation or I don't really have brothers like that, but if
Mm,
I did, they're like not biological and
right. Like brother friends, like, that kind of thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
they they know.
Yeah, you know what's up.
Yeah, they know what's up. But my partner,
Yeah.
I've had partners that blended very well with my friend group, and I've had
Mhm.
partners like that did not, and they're not here. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
nothing
yeah.
wrong with them, I think, but
Yeah,
like the ones that
yeah, yeah.
didn't really blend with my friends, it was
Probably didn't
uncomfortable.
last
I didn't
long.
like
Yeah,
it.
yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Well, sis, I mean, obviously, this is a stage of life that I'm in, but you'll be there, soon, whenever you decide. So I wanted to talk about like generational healing and parenthood. But obviously, you're an aunt and big sister, and so you know how to like see all these things. So I would say the parenting, it offers us a chance to heal certain generational wounds while raising the next generation. Have you found yourself reflecting on upbringing and intentionally breaking certain cycles or preserving traditions as you raise children or the children around you?
Definitely. I do have 2 godsons. They're my kids.
Oh.
And I do have sisters. I'm the oldest.
Yes,
And definitely, like, saying "I love you" was one of the biggest things that I made sure I incorporated
yes,
generational, just for my friends and family in general, like, they know. before we end the phone call, it's "I love you" later or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And I think with my godsons, like just if we're going to go to Discovery Place, I always get them books. Like they know
Oh, yeah,
because
that's
I just
great.
want them to be big readers and stuff like that. Um,
Right.
just like, the things I didn't get to do when I was growing up. Even though I did
Mm,
a lot, like my mom was kind of, was a great mom.
yeah.
It's just when she started having other kids, it just got,
Yeah.
time got switched up. But when I was younger, we did check not what is it called? We did like what's the thing when the kids dress up and go Halloween, that thing.
Okay, okay.
Trick or treating. Yeah, we
Yes,
did
yes.
that. We she was on school trips and stuff like that. So I saw
Mhm.
all of that. And I always say I'm gonna be a PTO or PTA
Yeah, yeah,
mom.
PTA, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be
I
like
love
that
it.
mom. Like
Yes,
I wanna be at every game. I wanna be at everything that's important to my kids and
yeah.
just making sure they feel loved. Because as an African woman, you knew your parents loved you, but
Yeah,
it was never, oh, I love you. It was
yeah.
just, I put food on the table. I put
Right.
clothes on your back. Like, I love you. Like, why do I have
Right.
to say it? Type of thing.
Right.
So yeah, just like hugging more and just saying I love you verbally and
Mhm.
prioritizing education.
Right.
Yeah. And just a lot of things I didn't like growing up, not being able to I think my mom did a really good job with making me feel free to come and talk
Mm,
to her. But like
love
usually
that.
like with other people, it's like you can't really talk to older people like that. If they
Yeah.
do you wrong, you can't really like express yourself. So I think that's something that I will implement, like, and I have been with my nieces and nephews and godkids. Like if I did something wrong, I'm not too big to apologize. But those are the things I would do.
Sis, sis, I just want to say you are such a like a wonderful person. I mean, of course, I've already known that, but like I'm discovering it more as we're talking tonight.
Thank
Like
you.
you said like so many things, and I was trying my best not to get emotional, just because again, of course, I'm in my mom era, so it's like I mean, I've always wanted to do these things anyway, but like now, like it's a lot more real. Like, like I think because like you rightly said, of course, as Africans, our parents loved us. I mean, they did whatever they could for us to make sure that we are who we are today as upstanding people, and just whoever we are to to our families today. Um, but there were many things that they didn't do for cultural reasons or just whatever the reasons were. Um, and like I think I say it often on the podcast. Like now that I'm an adult, I see how my mom like she actively says that she loves me now. Like we give each other hugs. Like she shows love in a very I mean, she's always been like a very, nurturing person, obviously. She cares for me even now, in my 30s. But like, and of course, the way she cares for her grandson too, like it's so beautiful to see. And like, she's very like says "I love you" all the time to him,
Oh,
and it's yeah. She didn't say that to us when we were growing up, but she says it to us now, and I think that's such a beautiful thing, just to kind of witness that evolution of parenthood for her, even as who as a grandmother now. But I guess kind of to bring it back to me, um, definitely saying I love you every chance I get, hugging every chance I get. As you said, being there, for games, PTA, meetings, book fairs. I mean, I don't know if you remember the book fairs. Like, we didn't
mhm.
always we didn't always have money for the book fair, but that's going to change with our generation. Like, if our kids like all those things we didn't have, because of one reason or the other, these kids are definitely gonna have that. Like, there's no doubt about it. So yeah, I think it's just about being intentional. Again, obviously, our parents they had different things going on. Being immigrants, being having whatever challenges may have come from our home countries. But for us, kind of being here, we have the opportunity to create a life that our parents couldn't have or that they couldn't give us. Um, so again, I think it's just a beautiful thing just to witness. And even though we may make fun of the older generation sometimes, they gave birth to us, and we are here because of them. So we really have to, honor them more. And whatever they didn't do right, we have the opportunity to make those changes. So, it's something I think about all the time, like
Yeah,
even before becoming a mom. So I'm just, thankful that I have the opportunity. I'm thankful that, I'm in a position to, financially in a position to kind of do better in certain areas. And I'm just kind of looking forward to, as my son gets older, just being there for him, and showing up, you know, a lot more. 'Cause I think that was the other thing too. Like when we had different things in school, like spelling bee or like award ceremonies. Unfortunately, my parents weren't always there. Um, I don't know if that was the same situation for you, but that was something that was kind of. Sorry, just go ahead.
I said sometimes, but my mom tried the best that she could
Yeah,
do.
yeah, yes, it's because of work and because of other things, they couldn't always be there. But like I said, that's gonna change. That's not gonna happen with this generation. Like, every thing that I can be there for or that my husband can be there for will be there. You know, because I think those are things that are important. Like when you reflect, like, oh, my mom and dad, they were there, or my aunt, my godmom, or whoever these significant people are in your lives, like they're there, and that's what I want to do differently, for my son.
Beautifully said. Said. I
Yeah. Yes, yes, yeah, most definitely. Um, so I guess just to kind of wrap up, sis, we've definitely had a wonderful chat tonight, um, on mentorship and passing the torch. When we talk about sisterhood, how do we ensure that we're passing on wisdom and lessons to younger generations, while also, I guess, remaining open to hearing from them or learning from them?
That is interesting, and it's something that I'm trying to do right now, with, like, my siblings, but I think
Mm,
the younger generation has to be open to it, you know,
yeah,
and willing to learn from the older generation,
right,
and that's the disconnect right now, I think, yeah,
right.
those born in the 2000s,
Oh my gosh. Oh man.
yeah, they're interesting, but I love their
Yes.
tenacity and the way they stand up for themselves,
Oh
and
yeah. Oh yeah.
that they're, like, so aware, and,
Mhm.
like, they don't really take a lot.
Yeah, they
But
don't.
I think mentorship is important, especially, because I do media too.
Mhm.
When it comes to that, like, I had a mentor when I started out.
Yeah.
It was great. She took me under her wing, taught me everything that she wanted, or could teach me about
Yes.
everything. And I
Right.
appreciate that. You too, you were a mentor at once, for me when it came to like this whole media stuff.
Thank you,
So I
sis.
think it's important to pass the torch on. But my thing is the younger generation have to be willing to receive it and
Mm.
implement it because it's like, okay, I don't want to just be talking or sounding like a broken record if you're not
Yeah.
going to listen and implement what is being taught.
Right. Yes, sis. I mean, I think that's right on. I think, again, just because we are firstborns and everything, naturally we like to, I guess, give advice or try to like be a mentor to people. Just because, for our younger siblings, we kind of do that by default. Um, But I think for me, like, even with what I do with career coaching and stuff, it's just something that's natural for me. I love helping people. I love trying to position people to be in the best place that they can be, whether that's through, in their career, whether that's just in other aspects of their lives. Um, I mean, that's just what I do. Like I always try to bring people on, like if there's an opportunity that I
Mhm.
find, whether it's like scholarship, kind of program, job, like that's something like I think of people who will benefit. Um, and then I reach out, and then once I'm there, like I'm actively trying to bring them on with me. I think that's what we need to do at any given point so that we can, kind of bring our people up with us. And I guess as far as like opening to learning from them, like you rightly said, with the next generation, Gen Z, um, they are very opinionated. They are very like they speak their mind, which I definitely respect because that's something that I think for we as millennials, especially African millennials, we weren't always, um, I guess, as comfortable speaking our minds. But of course, now as we're getting older, we do at times, but not in the way that they do. So I think it's just about being open to on both sides, open on their side to listen and hear from us, and likewise us because they have a good way of doing things too. It's just about like not seeing yourself as better than the other just because you're older or just because you're younger. Um, but yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah,
agree. I didn't answer the part about learning from them. We definitely can learn from them, especially when it comes for me with technology and stuff.
okay.
Because I'm not old, but like I'm not really techie. So it's like I'm learning so much from my younger siblings, especially when it comes to editing and all of
Oh
that.
yeah, yeah, like with
Open
social
to
media
learn
stuff.
from them. Yeah, they
Yes,
just have to be
yeah,
willing to, learn too and
yeah.
just listen.
I love that. I love that. Oh man. Well, sis, I mean, we've discussed so many things. I don't know. Is there any final thought that you may have? And then feel free to share with us what you have going on, like as far as your projects and anything else you want to share.
Okay, I really appreciate these conversations. I love coming on and talking to you because it's always very impactful conversations and they add, to
Thank
my
you.
life and whatever is going on. And I have new perspective of things.
I
So
love that.
yeah, I appreciate it so much. And I just want to encourage you to continue to grow and be better, especially when it comes to your businesses, you know, multi-business woman.
I love
So
it.
yeah, I think it's really great. And yeah, I hope everyone learned from what we talked about. I hope it was impactful. I hope you could relate and connect to it.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah. So tell us about, what's coming up with any projects you have.
okay. I'm excited because I'm getting back in the ring when it comes to media.
Love it.
My podcasts are coming back. I'm the founder of Heartfelt Media. We're a media company dedicated to properly promoting artists and entrepreneurs through the power of social media. We have two
Mm-hmm.
podcasts. One is called The Face Behind the Brands, where we interview entrepreneurs. And the other one is called Artist Insight, where we interview dope artists. And we just really feel when people know your why, they're more
Mm-hmm.
inclined to do business with you or listen to your music. So we are filming Sunday. Yay. I'm excited. We're shooting both podcasts. So that's what's coming up. And just more episodes. Hopefully, we're trying to take it international. Fingers
Yeah.
crossed.
Oh yes, I love that. I love that.
We're trying to take it international. We've done like Philadelphia, we've done Atlanta, Dallas might be something we're working on.
Okay, okay. Busy woman.
We're just
I love
and
it.
career-wise, I'm still in school, balancing school and career. It's not
Yes,
easy,
yes,
but I have a goal and I really want to get my degrees by the time, a certain time.
yes,
So I'm
yes.
working diligently towards that. And yeah,
I love it. Sis,
thank
thank you
you.
so much. Like honestly, like I said, it's been a pleasure just in general working with you and sharing this time with you. So I can't thank you enough. And until next time, thank you
Until next
everyone.